Just want to do a quick video to show how to start up this demolition saw and briefly talked about safety. So when you use something like this, you want to make sure you have long pants on, thick gloves, hearing protection, safety glasses, and especially if you're cutting concrete, have a mask on your face because you'll get a lot of dust kicked up. This saw, as soon as it starts running, the blade will start spinning, so just be aware of that. Also, there's a lot of rotational inertia due to the size of the blade, and so when you pick up the saw with it running, there's this very strange gyroscopic effect you're going to feel just carrying the saw while it's running. So just be aware of that. That's how all these things are. It's not like a chainsaw, it's not like a circular saw, it's a pretty different feel. So I'm just going to go over the basics to start it up. This is the stop switch. You'd pull that all the way out to stop it. Push that in, and that's the run position. Here's your choke. Pull that all the way out. On the side of the engine, you've got the compression release. Push that in. That's got to be pushed in. And then here you've got the throttle. Squeeze it, and then push in the throttle lock. Now, this is a hard pull. That's why this has compression release. I typically stand on the handle while I pull it, and that helps me get the best leverage. And then what you're going to see me do as I try and start it, I usually toggle back and forth between pushing the choke in. Once it fires, then if it doesn't start, you push the compression release back in, you pull the choke back out until it fires, push the choke back in, see if it'll go. If it doesn't, push the compression release back in. So you'll see me doing that here as we start the saw. These things, they have a big engine, so they're always cold-blooded, and what I mean by that is they're hard to start. But once they start, they'll run good, and should usually restart hot pretty good. Push the choke in, push the compression release back in. And you got to hold that stop switch till it stops running, and as you can see, the blade takes a second to wind down. One thing that you want to know when you're making a cut, these saws, even though it's a big engine, there's really not much torque. That's just the way two strokes are. So what that means is you want the engine running fast, like full throttle, before you start your cut. And it's going to bog down while you're cutting. That's okay. Stay full throttle while you cut. You never want the saw to be idling or less than full throttle when you start the cut, because you can bog the saw down and it'll probably stall. It really won't hurt it, but you're just going to get frustrated as you try and make a cut. So bring it up to full speed, then start your cut and keep on the throttle. And then if you have to stop a cut for some reason, maybe you got to reposition the piece. So you can only go about 7 inches in here. Keep the throttle on until you lift the saw out of the cut, and then you can come off the throttle. If you get off the throttle while you're still in the cut, it may pinch the blade, and then you jam the saw in what you're trying to cut. So just a couple of pro tips there, and hopefully it'll work good.